We are awakening together. This is our weekly gathering we hold online. For more information, visit our website, awakening-together.org. We'd love to see you there.
Welcome everyone to the Awakening Together Sanctuary this morning, this last Sunday in October, the day before Halloween. So that it's a beautiful sunny, well, not sunny, rainy day in Tennessee here where I'm at. So now this is, I want to know you, Lord. I want to know you, Lord. And so let's, with that thought, let's go to that inner guidance within each one of us that's going to help us find the way out of the pain and suffering and disillusionment that we feel as an individual believing in separation. And yet we know, we fervently hope that there is a way out. And we just go to you, our inner guidance, that wisdom within us to help us see through these words how we get out of this. So thank you so much, Father, Source, all that is, that power that is in each one of us. We thank you for the privilege and presence, your presence being with us in every instant. Amen. So, welcome everyone again. My topic today is be still and know that I am God. We're all on a divine path, holding that desire to understand what it's all about. What do we do about what is? And how do we truly know what that means? So our reading today will be from a book called The Impersonal Life by Joseph S. Brenner. And it's the chapter entitled Finding Me. And so this book is in the library of christmind.info. And Wanda Almonte will be our reader today. I hope I pronounced your last name properly. Thank you. So Wanda, go right ahead and share with us from that chapter, Finding Me.
Good morning, all. And this is the reading, today's reading, Finding Me. And it says, you who have studied carefully all that has been said herein, and who thinks you have gotten a glimpse of me, but yet are not sure, come close. Listen with your soul to what I now have to say. Be still and know I am God. If you have learned to be still, if you have studied and meditated upon this, I, as God within you, if you're able to distinguish from the personal I, and are conscious at times of being able to step outside as it is aware of your personality and views your human self as it is. See all its pitfalls and weaknesses, its base selfishness, its animal appetite and passion, its childish desire and foolish pride and vanities. If you can do all this and have seen these things with clear vision, know that at those moments you have been one with me in consciousness, that it was your real self I within you, permitting you thus to see with my eyes the reality of things. At those moments, you were free from your personality and you were dwelling in my consciousness. Call it cosmic, universal, spiritual, and personal consciousness, as you will, for you could have not have seen these things in yourself except through impersonal eyes, my eyes. Again, if you will look back, you will recall many times when you felt strongly impelled to do certain things, some of which you did with perfect results, others of which you argue against. Your intellect reasoning you into different actions, and often with failure, disappointment, or suffering as a result. This impelling consciousness was only your real self, I within you. At such moments, guiding you, distinctly telling you what to do. At those moments, you were hearing with your spiritual ears, my ears. And when you personally obeyed, success and satisfaction followed. But when you personally thought you knew better, discomfort, regret, and unhappiness resulted. Again, there have been moments when you have felt approaching events or the nearness of unseen persons or in harmonious vibration when contacting others. This is only the real you feeling with your spiritual or impersonal body, whose consciousness did you but know it. It's better on the alert to protect and warn and advise you regarding all other things, conditions, and events. The best and surest way you might know me is when selfless love fills your heart. And there is strong, compelling urge to help someone, to heal their ill, to relieve their suffering, to bring them happiness, to point out the true way that is the actual feel of me within you. Pushing the personality aside, using your mind and body for the purpose I created them, as avenue of expression of my real nature, which is perfect love, the Christ of God, the one paralyzing, quickening, life-giving, straining, healing, all supplying, all informer power in the universe. All this is pointed out to you in order to impress upon you that it is I, in your spiritual body, the perfect body within, where I dwell, who am always just talking to you, advising you, teaching you, warning and helping you in all the affairs of life, yes, in every little detail. If you will but turn to me and will carefully watch for and study these impressions which you are receiving every moment, and will learn to trust them, and thus to wait upon and rest in me, putting all your faith in me, verily I will guide you in all your ways. I will solve for you all your problems, make easy all your work, and you will be led among green pastures beside the still waters of life. Ah, my child, if you will spend but 1/10 of the time and energy you have wasted in seeking without among the hugs of human knowledge and human teachings, in earnest, determined effort directed within to find me. If you will devote 1 hour each day, thus to me alone, imagine and practice in the presence of me within you, I here promise you that you will not only soon, very soon find me, but I will be to you an exhaustless fount of such a wisdom and strength and help, and your human mind now cannot possibly conceive. Yes, if you will but seek me, thus making me first in your life, never resisting until you find me, it will not be long before you will become conscious of my presence, of my loving voice, speaking constantly from out of the depth of your heart. You will learn to come to me in sweet communion, and you will find yourself abiding in my consciousness, and that my word is abiding you, and that whatever you desire will seemingly, miraculously way be done unto you. This abiding continually in me may be difficult at first, for the world, the flesh, and the devil are still presenting evidence to your consciousness. But you will become accustomed to the use of my impersonal eyes, and will soon be able to see into the reality of things, even into the reality of this seeing Lord of the earth. Then you will find you're dwelling in a wondrous new world, people with angelic beings, using the flesh bodies of their human personality merely as vehicle, or instrument, or clothing in which to contrast the earthly condition and experience they have created, in order to develop the soul qualities necessary for the perfect expression on earth of my idea. To your eyes, then there will be no shadows, no evil, and consequently no devil. For all is light and love, freedom, happiness, and peace. And you will see me in all, in each being some attribute of me, in each animated thing some face of me. And you will need only to let my love shine from out your heart, and it will illuminate for you the real meaning of all that you see. Then the great realization will come that you have found the kingdom of God, that you are walking in it. That is right here in this earth. That is manifesting all around you. That you have been living in it all the time, but you did not know. That instead of being without in some far off place, is within your own being, within every other being, the innermost inner of all manifested things. In other words, it will be found to be the reality of all things, and that all outward seem it's but the shadow of this reality, created by man's misconception and his belief in his separateness from me. When you have found the kingdom, you will likewise find your place in it, realizing now that you are the truth of my divine attributes, that your work was all laid out for you from the beginning, that all that has gone before has been but a preparation and a fitting of your human personality for that work. Your whole soul will leap with joyful anticipation that after all these many years of wandering, you have at last returned to my home and can now enter into my reality, into my real life, one in consciousness with me and with your other self, all working to bring about the final perfect expression of earth of my divine idea. You, to whom the reading of this has brought memories of previous joy, and whose soul has quickened in response. Do not leave these words until you have gotten from them all I have to tell you. Be still and listen to my inner voice, and learn of the glories that awaits. If you're able to see with impersonal eyes, hear with impersonal understanding. However, if this reading brings to you your first vision of my reality within you, setting in motion by this partial realization of me and my kingdom, high vibration which lifts you into temporary spiritual ecstasy, and you resolve to try to abide always in this consciousness of me and always to obey me, do not be discouraged should you fail when immediately thereafter an occasion come to test the sincerity and strength of your resolve. It is only by your trying and failing and realizing meanly your lack of strength and ability to rest and trust in me that I can quicken in you the consciousness of my divine powers, ever waiting to manifest through you. This high vibration and only the arousing into action of certain souls' quality and their corresponding faculties, which must be awakened before I can manifest such powers. And naturally, when such soul qualities are aroused, they meet active opposition from the certain other qualities, which here, therefore, held undisputed sway in your nature, and which must be overcome and brought under suggestion, and then lifted up in their true service before the soul qualities can be freely expressed. And this opposition should and will strengthen and test and perfect expression of the soul qualities. For you must be capable of withstanding every attack from without before you can fully manifest all my divine powers, pushing forth from within. Know that I am manifesting these powers in you just as fast as you can bear it and be strong. The mistake you make in this trying to grow yourself. I am the tree of life within you. My life will and must push forth, but I will do by gradual and steady growth. You cannot come into your flourish before you have grown to it. Remember, my life is all the time building you up into the perfection of health and strength and beauty that must express outwardly as it is even now expressing within. You who have begun to realize I am within, but have not yet learned to commute with me, listen and learn now. You have learned to be still, and you have perhaps felt my presence within. If so, realizing I am there, ask me a question. Then, with a silent, earnest prayer to me for an answer, but without anxiety, care, or personal interest, with an open mind, wait confidently for the impression that will come. Thank you.
Thank you, Wanda. And Wanda is one of our Awakening Together ministers. And so we're thankful that you're here and sharing with us. So let me share a little bit about this book, The Impersonal Life. And let's see, somewhere here. Joseph Brenner is a mystic that was born in 1872. He passed away in 1941. He received messages from an inner source throughout his life, and when he was in his mid-40s, gave himself over entirely to be taught by that inner presence. His first book, The Impersonal Life, was published in 1914, along with his other books, and he published them anonymously. After his death, his daughter continued to carry on his work and added his name as Arthur. So he did on christmind.info. There's a library of books there, and The Impersonal Life is part of that library. I've studied that book, and I'm currently reading this book again on my Wednesday program, 6 to 6:30 on Wednesdays. So you're welcome to join me. We're about the third or fourth chapter. So he also wrote a little book. I'm going to call it a pamphlet because it's very short, called The Way Out. And so let me just share a little bit about that. We will now show you the way, a way so simple and easy that anyone can do it. All that is needed is to stay over and over again to yourself until you absolutely believe it, letting not a single doubt of its truth ever enter your mind. The following words: God loves and cares for me, giving me all good things. I love him and think his thoughts and do only the things he wants me to do. Try to realize fully these words, to feel it, to see yourself actually living in the consciousness of it, going about your daily work in that consciousness. And if you do this, it will bring the greatest possible blessings into your life. So that's really about all I know about him. But I've really enjoyed studying his book. And so this chapter that we just shared is Finding Me. How do we find God? So that's the $64,000 question. For those of you who are younger, you probably don't know there was a program, a television program called the $64,000 question. So, and at that time, I guess that was back in the 60s. I'm just guessing. That was a lot of money back then. So anyway, what's it all about? How do we find our way back? Well, you can't trust yourself. That's number one. We don't have a clue. From a standpoint of being an individual, we have a lot of beliefs. We get sidetracked, but we don't really know. However, there's another voice within us. That voice of spirit, that voice of inner wisdom, and that voice is guiding us in every moment. We don't necessarily even realize it, that we're being guided, but every step of our life is being guided by that spirit within. From a standpoint of the small self that we believe ourselves to be, we see danger, we see not enough, we see lack, we see suffering, and yet this is just an illusion. We're not seeing reality. So what to do about what is? That's a quote from Jordan Peterson that I heard him say the other day. What do we do about what is? And one of the first things that we can do is just realize that we don't know what is. We truly don't know. Leonardo da Vinci said, learn how to see. Everything connects to everything else. Learn how to see. I was thinking the other day, we look at ourselves in the mirror. What do we mostly look at? We look at our flaws. We look at the things that we judge about ourselves that, and the general theme is, not enough, not good enough. The reality is, as we focus on a single aspect of ourselves, that's generally what we see. We've been programmed from an early age. The experts say that, until we're about 7 or 8 years old, we're being programmed by our environment, pretty much. And 80% of that programming is negative. That's what we hear. And that program runs our lives as an individual. So we've got 20% positive or neutral and mostly negative things. And we look at ourselves and we say, not enough. And yet, if we look at the whole picture, it's only by looking at the whole picture that it starts to make sense. Everything is perfect, just as it is. I like this quote from Rupert Spira: when thought stops, peace shines through. The way that we relate to the world is, these thoughts that are constantly flowing through our mind. It's like listening to a radio station. We think that it's our thoughts. And, our thoughts are actually programmed. It's like Facebook or social media. If you show interest in something, then you're going to get more of that. Have you ever noticed? If you look at your social media page and then look at someone else's, it's an entirely different stream of information that's presented. And that's the way we're tuning into a radio frequency that's beaming into us more of what we focus on. And so the way out is to stop focusing on it, stop paying attention. Every one of us have, as we're listening to the radio, we've got different channels that appeal to us. Most of them, if we're searching, we'll just search. We'll search, and then we hear something that kind of catches our ear, we stop. And that's what we listen to. Well, the thoughts coming into our mind are just like a radio broadcast. And the key to getting out is to stop listening to all of it. All of that thought that comes into us. When we can, it can be, it's in the background, but we don't have to pay attention to it. When thought stops, peace shines through. And so be still and know that I am God. You know, one of the things that Regina shares with us frequently is the only difference between any one of us and herself is that she has done the work. This is the key, to do the work. And so we all have enough information. We got way more information than we could ever hope for. We don't need more information. And yet we seem drawn to absorbing more and more and more information. So whatever you think and hold in consciousness as being so, manifest, and he uses the word out manifests itself in your body or affairs. So whatever you think, you know, and I'm going to say the you think is the thoughts that you grab onto. The thoughts that you grab onto, and you grab onto them, and you get more of that same thought, more and more and more. Thoughts exist to you only when you let them in your mind. Now, you're not gonna put up a wall and say, okay, you can't come in anymore. That doesn't work. You can't resist. You just have to let them flow. Just let them keep flowing. Just stop paying attention to them. So how do you stop paying attention? Well, there's another voice to listen to. There's another voice to listen to, and you can do this. Each one of us can do this. You know, Regina has said there's not a single person in Awakening Together that cannot do this, that cannot awaken to the truth of who we truly are. It's just one foot in front of the other. We just have to keep putting one foot in front of the other. And when that voice says, well, you screwed up again, it's a great fix you got us into now, Ollie. Just ignore that voice. It's lying to you. So you can do this. Learn how to see. Everything is connected to everything else. And so we just, just realize this, you're not doing the work. The work is being done through you. The work is being done through you. And so just keep focusing on being present, holding that desire to listen to that voice within you. You know, God loves each one of us. It's really self-love because we are God. And we're perfectly safe, regardless of how life seems to come at us. You know, we're not this body. We think we're this body, but we're not. So just keep looking. Awareness alone is the process. Just stay in awareness. Be still and know that I am God. So let's look at our text here that was shared with us earlier. You can do all this if you can do all this and have seen these things with clear vision, well, how do we get clear vision? We just hold the desire for it. You know, it may not, it's, for most of us, it's a process. It seems to take time. For many of us, it seems to take years. You know, there are those people that have a spontaneous awakening event in their lives. You know, I call that the crash and burn scenario. You know, Saul on the road to Damascus, where Jesus strikes him blind, and you know, he has a sudden awakening experience. Eckhart Tolle sitting on a park bench. Byron Katie laying underneath the bed, not even feeling that she was worthy to sleep in a bed. You know, I mean, yeah, that's one way to awaken. It's not been one that I've really been drawn to. I never really want to be that miserable that I just, you know, that I just want to let my ego dissolve, because it's such a horrible thing. You know, perfect. And I don't really want to suffer. I don't think any of us want to suffer. I want the kind and gentler path. So we just have to listen to the other voice. The impelling consciousness that's your only real self, the I within you. And as we tune into that, we learn to listen to it, we get this sense of guidance, of being guided. Now, we're being guided all the time. We just don't really focus on it. But when we really start paying attention, it's a fabulous thing. It's a fabulous thing. So the best and surest way you may know me is when selfless love fills your heart. You know, each one of us has these impulses to serve, in a sense, to serve someone else, to help someone else, to help heal their ills, relieve their suffering, to bring them to happiness. And the point to wait out the true way, that is actually me within you. You know, what we really want for someone else is what we want for ourselves. We're really doing it for ourselves. And it seems that there's another person out there, but it's just all a different aspect of the one spirit within all of us. So in every moment, turn to me. Watch and study the impressions which you are receiving. You'll learn to trust this. Rest in me. I will solve all your problems. I will make it easy, all your work. And you will be led among green pastures and beside the still waters. If we'll devote just an hour a day, you know, I know Michael Singer says, do it as much as you can. You know, if you can meditate all day, every day, then do that. But if we just consistently spend time every day, the best way to do that is start out in the morning. And I'm not always the best at that. You know, we all have a routine when we get up in the morning, and yet we sometimes we say, well, okay, I'm going to meditate later. Well, if later never comes, if we don't do it now, it probably doesn't get done. I know that's certainly true for me, but if you will start the day with that sweet voice of truth within you, just focus on it, hold it in awareness, and just ask, what would you have me do now? What would you have me do today? So here I promise you that you will not only soon, very soon find me, but I will be to you an exhaustless fount of such wisdom and strength and help as your human mind cannot possibly conceive. And I think one of the most important things for George is the realization, I don't really know anything. Well, and I think most of us have that thought in the back of our mind. I don't really know. I don't understand what's going on. How do I get out of this place? So, but if we just rest in that, you know, I have this sense of I don't know, and yet I also have this sense that it's perfect because there's a voice within me that does know, that is guiding me. And so find yourself abiding in my consciousness, and that my word is abiding in you, that whatever you desire will in seemingly miraculous ways be done unto you. There's a great realization that can come to us. You know, the kingdom of God is right here. It's right here. It's right now. And it's the best of times. It's also the worst of times if we're listening to the other voice. You know, it doesn't really matter what happens to us in the world. I mean, let's face it. We're only here for a short period of time. It may seem, you know, we may seem like, well, we've lived quite a while, but that day of not existing as this personality is coming for each one of us. And so it's just a sense of lack, okay? A lack of enough time. What the reality is, what happens to this body is not really that important. It's going to die. And, you know, if we live long enough, we're probably going to experience some pain and suffering in the body. And in this singular mind, this egoic mind that tells us something needs to be different. So, wow. Let's see, I'm using up my time here. So I think, let me leave you with this. Do not be discouraged should you fail. Immediately thereafter, an occasion comes to test the sincerity and resolve of your strength. It is only by your trying and failing and realizing keenly your lack of strength and ability to rest and trust in me that I can quicken you, in you the consciousness of my divine power, even waiting to ever waiting to manifest through you. God is just waiting. That spirit within us, that inner wisdom within us is just waiting patiently for us to start listening to that voice. And so know that I am manifesting these powers in you just as fast as you can bear it, and be strong. And I'll leave that with you. That'll be my last word here. I'm going to turn it back over to Sana. And thank you for being here. Thank you, Sana. I see Sana has posted a link. Awakening Together survives on your donations. And if you feel so guided, you can use that link, or there's other ways to donate. So thanks so much. Well, let's see. I guess, does anybody have anything they'd like to share before we close up here and go into fellowship? Cindy?
I mostly just wanted to express my gratitude to you, George, and all the way you're showing up. Today's homily, the message was brilliant. It touched everything, every question that I was asking in my contemplations this morning. And so, but I also want to say thank you for all the ways you've been showing up in my life recently. As part of Gentle Healing, I listened to the original Gentle Healing class with Regina. And last week she was talking about all these different ways the I am bad belief showed up. And you, I don't know if you remember, but you told a story about a traveling vacuum cleaner salesman and how he went out to get to the car to get something, and you looked at your mom at 5 years old and said, "Who is that man?" Like, I have it in my head. And he heard you, and the I am bad belief was born in you in that moment. And just you telling that story, and the way you told that story, and the way it hit things that I don't even know, it just, all the different ways you show up in all the different rooms we're together. And I just, I wanted to say thank you, because it's a huge part of whatever's going on in me. And I love you, and I am eternally grateful.
No, thank you, Cindy. Thank you for those kind words, and I love you too. Yeah, you know, we, yeah, like I say, 80% of our programming was negative, and you know, sometimes we know where it came from, and sometimes we don't. But I remember distinctly how embarrassed I was that that man was standing right beside me. And it's you know, the reality is, it was just a neutral statement. Who is that man? You know, but I felt just this tremendous shame and embarrassment, and you know, most of us can think of times in our lives that that's happened to us. So, but yeah, thank you. Anyone else? Thanks, Anna. Well, that concludes our sanctuary program.
This was our weekly gathering that we hold online. For more information, you can visit our website at awakening-together.org, or you can subscribe to our Awakening Together channel and click the bell for more notifications when we post our weekly gatherings. Thank you again for watching.